And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100% agree. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, hello, everyone. It is September 5th. We have made it basically to the edge of fall, but we don't fall off with the Weighing In podcast. We are here to talk about the recent UFC that just occurred. Derek Brunson getting a submission win against Darren Till, and we've got a plethora of other MMA content to talk about, and no one better to talk about this with than my man, my brother, Josh the Punk Thompson. What's up, baby?
Not much, man. Not much. I heard you got a little bit of a war with some Hornets or whatever it was. Yellow Jackets. The Yellow Jackets got to you today. Is that what happened to you? You look like the Elephant Man right now. The forehead's a little swollen. Elbow is a little swollen.
Dude, man, I'm everything. I got a big old fist now. Look at this, all puffy. I got marks in here. My lips bigger. Hey, I'm calling it a technical draw. Okay, yes, they stung the shit out of me. But every one that I felt, I killed that little son of a bitch.
Sure you did. It's already back at the nest now, bragging to his friend about how it whooped your ass.
I will. It's a technical draw. They gave their lives to try to hurt me, and I definitely hurt them because they're not flying anymore.
You pulled a William
Those
Wallace,
little bastards sting fast. Dude, they sting fast and furious.
You did one of those Braveheart William Wallace things, right? Where you pluck the wing off, one of the legs off, you put the head off in one corner, each corner of your yard, right? You put it there to let all the other Yellow Jackets know. Jeez,
Drawn
man.
and quartered, baby. No,
You're
I just
vicious.
squashed them. Dude, I'm telling you, these things, and it lasts, man. You're talking, these things last for a couple days. They itch like a bitch, and they swell up, man. This is not fun, but it's all good.
Have you not learned anything from falling out of the damn tree? I mean, like, have you not learned anything?
No,
like,
dude,
stay
you know
away
what?
from
My
those type of things.
First off, see, this is what's wrong with you. You sit there and you do like the stuff off to the side. Oh, I'm gonna look good, but don't touch me. No, it's about getting in the dirt. It's about getting in the mud, getting dirty, getting muddy, and doing real man work.
Okay. Sounds really stupid. Sounds really dumb. Look at you now. Right, you look like I said, you look like the Elephant Man. Lip is a little swollen, arms a little swollen. I mean, I'm sure you're going to break out even more. And you'll be itching all night. You'll be itching all night.
Oh,
wonderful.
Dude, man, it's just so bad. Feeling
but
good.
Also, while you guys are trying to itch at something, go to our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. Also, hit the little notifications there so you know when we drop our stuff. Also, in the link down below, you can hit that link there. That'll take you to our Clips channel, which is growing very rapidly right now because we do a special show for that, and it's called Weighing Interjection. It's fun, 8 to 12 minutes long. Make sure you guys hit that link. That link will take you to our Clips channel. Hit the subscribe button there as well, and the bell, because that one there gets dropped in the midweek show. So also, if you guys have anything else you guys really would like us to talk about, sometimes you guys can slide up in the comments. I read all the comments. I know John doesn't because John has a hard time reading big words. So what happens is I read them all, and I relay the messages to Big John, you know? And so hopefully you guys enjoy this show.
This is the way it's supposed to be.
This is the way it's supposed to be. The young guy taking care of the old guy. That's exactly how this is supposed to be. I tell this story all the time. When people say, how did you guys, start to work together? And I said, really what it is, right? Is I had an older bulldog. He was probably pushing around, 6 or 7. He started kind of slowing down. So I went out and I got myself a lab who was young. And all of a sudden my bulldog got young again. Well, that's exactly what I've done to Big John. Big John was getting older, so I started to hang out with him more. And now all of a sudden, look at him. He's feisty. He's young. He's feels like he's
getting stung to shit by Yellow Jackets.
Yeah. But see, that's the old man brain saying it's okay to go do those things. I say, no, don't do those things. What are you doing? Oh, man. All right. Well, hey, let's jump into one because we talked about one last week. And I'm going to go ahead and skip basically the whole damn card because they all went the distance. Don't get me wrong. They all fought hard. They all went the distance.
It was decision mania.
It was decision mania. All of the fights went the distance. It was they were okay. They were good fights. Nothing against them. They were good fights, but they weren't something I want to spend 30 minutes talking about. But I will. I have to bring up Michelle Nicolini when she fought Zhang, is because I trained with Michelle for years. I believe she's a 9-time jiu-jitsu world champion. She's phenomenal on the ground. But the story is she couldn't get the fight to the ground. And when she did, she just seemed like she wasn't able to secure the positions, wasn't able to threat submissions. She struggled the whole time trying to get that fight, not just to the ground, but then also trying to secure the position once she did get there. And so that was the hardest part, I think, to watch, because I have trained with her. I know how good she is, but she is also getting up there in age. I want to say she's 39 years old, I believe now. And so that's hard.
Isn't she?
Okay. 38 or 39. So, but when you're that good at jiu-jitsu, you would think there's always a chance and always opportunity for you, even to the last bell, for you to get a finish. It just wasn't in the books that night. She was struggling. It was kind of hard to watch on the stand-up area because she kept reaching out with her hands, just looking to get knocked out. And I'm surprised that she didn't take a lot more harder shots. She was able just to kind of move out of the way of a lot of the hard, clean shots. She did take some big shots, though. I was surprised how well she took them, and she kept coming forward. She's a dog, man. Like when I think of people that are dogs, she's a dog. Went out there trying to get it done, but she wasn't able to get it done and wasn't able to get the fight really to the ground long enough to secure a dominant position and get to a finish. But that was kind of really all that I took away from this fight night.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you said. If you are this, incredible martial artist on the ground, and you can only get the fight down there for basically a minute and a half to 2 minutes of a 15-minute fight, you better be busy during that minute and a half or 2 minutes, because this fight is not in the realm that you are competitive in this fight, and she wasn't able to do that for most of it, and that's why she ended up just losing the decision. But overall, the whole night, a lot of decisions, a lot of time. But this is what happens sometimes when you have smaller human beings that don't have that power that can put the fight out with one shot. There was a couple times people got hit with a shot but weren't able to follow up. So overall, yeah, I think it's one of those. It was a good card for one to put out for all of the ladies out there and show that they have a stable of ladies that they can go to and put on an entire card, but it didn't have the wow factor that you want. Yeah.
All right, well, let's jump into the UFC. UFC was this afternoon. I'm glad that it was an earlier card. So when I see it comes on at 10:30 and the main card starts around 1 Pacific Coast time, I'm like, all right, I can get behind this. This is good. So, all right, can you scroll down to the bottom there, Dave? One of the fights, because they lost some fights, but the Arosa and Jourdain fight was a damn good fight. I mean, it had a lot of everything in it.
Fantastic.
I had Jourdain winning the fight up until the time he got choked, but it was very close. Who'd you have winning the first round? Arosa or Jourdain?
I had Arosa winning the first round, I believe it was.
Yeah, that's what I had too.
So I'm trying to remember
which
was
close
one it
though.
was. But I had a 1-1 going into the third. But I mean, what's the one? Because Arosa got smacked good by Jourdain. I thought that was the second round. And
it was in the second round. Yep.
Yeah, and but still competitive. But Jourdain has got, you talk about just very fast and fluid and technically good with his ability to transition into stands. I mean, he does a lot of flying attacks. He comes off his feet a lot. But Arosa, I've known Julian Arosa since The Ultimate Fighter when he was fighting on that. And he's just a tough dog, man. And he's had some tough fights and stuff, but he stayed in this thing. And that the way that he set up that Darce, he knew exactly where he was going to go. He was waiting for the moment that he could transition to it. And when that moment came, that's why it slid in the way it did. And he caught it, and he caught it not only with the top section, he controlled the leg right away, and that's why that submission worked. And that was just a beautifully executed submission move, hold, fight by Julian Arosa. He should be very proud of that because he beat a really good guy in Charles Jourdain.
Yeah, I looked at it as anytime he found a different way to win. The fight was close. He knew what he had to do. When he was able to get close into the clinch and get the head down, he started attacking the submissions right away. And Jourdain didn't really have an answer. He was trying to figure out how to defend it. But I go back to tall, long, and lanky, my friends, because the reason why I'm going back there is it's a lot easier to hit those type of chokes when you have the body style of which he has, that Arosa has. Arosa locked that in. He's so long, not just with the kicks, but his arms, everything. And when he locked that in, you could tell that he switched over, grabbed the leg, and it was done. He was going to have a hard time Jourdain was going to have a hard time getting his hips away to try to alleviate the pressure. And even when you do get your hips away when someone's that long, it makes it easier for them just to kind of lock it in nice and tight. And he can fish for the leg if he needs to. He could have kept that pressure on the whole time, even if his legs would have escaped. So, I mean, it was a close fight up until the third round. It was a fun fight. I thought it was probably one of the funnest fights on the night. And so it was a great fight between the two of them. They were both letting some hands go. Jourdain seemed to be the faster fighter. He was landing the cleaner, harder shots, but it seemed like every time Arosa hit him, it kind of made Jourdain go backwards. So, but the harder shots that you heard on TV, those ones came from Jourdain. And so the speed and the mixing of up on the feet with Jourdain, I had him winning the fight up until the moment that he got caught in the choke. So, but it was a fun fight.
Yeah,
if I was to say what fights were some of the best tonight, that was one of the best ones.
Oh, it was great, and it was a great finish because that's what you're looking for out of fighters. You want them to go. You want them to go after the finish. I don't want you to go after. Okay, I'm winning the third round, and my coach told me that I need to win this round, but I'm winning it, so I can just ride it out. You want the guy that goes for the finish, and that's what Arosa did, and that's what made that fight really good. And so, congratulations to him. I know he had some heartbreak with a teammate at Extreme Couture losing their life, something going bad in surgery or something. But it was a nice victory, and he's giving that win over in that situation. So good for him. Congratulations, great performance.
Nice. And then what do you think about Jack Shore?
He's good. He's good everywhere.
Is he good, or is it the competition right now is not?
Up.
Is he good, or is the competition just not at his level? Like, should we be saying that? He's a top 15 guy, but the guys after watching that fight, I don't even know how you say his name.
Okay, what you're expecting is you wanted him to have a finish in that fight.
Yeah, I think so. He had opportunities in the first. I believe it was. I thought it was the first round. He had an opportunity to finish the fight there, and then he wasn't able to finish it. I think he was on the back. I'm trying to remember. Side choke. Sorry, he had a side choke position. He realized that he wasn't. He realized that it wasn't in, and then he went back to the mount and didn't finish it. And then in the fight, ended up going the distance. But it was he's dominant. He's good. He moves well. He's got good striking. But I also, and I'm going to go back to what we always say, is for these younger guys, don't rush it. With Aspinall later, we'll talk about him as well. Like, he's not in a hurry, and I don't think Shore should be in a hurry either, because they're not on that big money pay scale yet. When you start making the 150 or the 120 or the 200 or whatever it is, then you can start asking for those top 10, top 5 guys. It's good to know that he's not really trying to say, hey, I want a top 5 guy, and that he's trying to like slow play it seems like, and get some wins and build up his record, which is good. But the level of which I saw him, he looked way better than his opponent, and he just didn't have. But you got those type of guys you need to get out of there.
Yes, I agree with you in that. But you got to take a look. I think that makes him 4-0 in the UFC. Mm-hmm. He had that close fight against Hunter Azure, who was good. I believe he was 9-1 going into his fight with Jack Shore, and he lost that one. But Shore's right in that, he's in that position like you talk about, a Sugar Sean or something like that. These are the fights that he should be winning. Now, what you want to see him do is win these fights when he has someone that he's decidedly better than. You can see he's better in the stand-up. He's better on the ground. He's just better. I need you to not just ride the fight out, not just allow these rounds to go by, and yes, I'm winning, and yes, he was. I need you to look for that area where you're going to finish your opponent. And if you're not finishing these guys here, then you're going to leave an opponent the ability to come back in a fight that you're winning, but you don't put them away, and that's going to be what's going to bite you in the butt, and that's going to be your first loss, is you're not figuring out ways of putting these guys away. And it's tough. I'm not saying it's not tough. It's tough to put away a good fighter. But when you have just a basic, technical proficiency that's better everywhere than your opponent, you should be finishing him.
Yeah, we had this conversation with Rafion Stotts in one of the fighter meetings, and I said, "Hey, when you're leaps and bounds above, like better than someone, don't let that person linger around, because one day it's going to bite you in the ass, and you don't want that to happen." And so, Rafael took it in with, a grain of salt. But like in this situation, I think with Jack Shore, he needs to make sure that guys like this, you get them out of there. Because no matter what, in this game with 4-ounce gloves, they're dangerous. Everyone's dangerous. And when you get to the level of which you're at the UFC, or if you're in Bellator, if you're at ONE, whatever, PFL, all these guys and females, they all have an opportunity to finish you at any time, at any moment, injured or not, or hurt, beat up or not. They have an opportunity to finish you. And so, yeah, but I think he's on the right track. Obviously, 15-0. It looks like they're slow playing him, which is good because he's young. He's 26 years old. He's very talented. I wouldn't go as far to say what Bisping said about him being like the GSP. I wouldn't go that far yet, but I understand. That's good that Bisping's trying to pump people up.
He's supposed to hype him. That's his job. Yeah,
that's his job
to hype him up.
But yeah, that's what you got to do. And I think for young talented people like Jack Shore, he's 15, like you said, 15-0. Okay, and he's had dominant performances. It's good that Michael's doing something like that because now it gives that young man the confidence, even more confidence going into his next fight. And so I just hope that they slow play him until he starts making enough money to be fighting those top 15, top 10 guys. Okay, what else?
Well, you had to be happy with Meatball Molly McCann.
I was super.
You got to win in the UFC here. That was a good fight. It was very, very competitive. I thought it was 1-1 going into the third round, and I thought it was a very impressive third round by Meatball Molly. I love the fact that she was just pressing, crushing the space, making it a rough, hard fight for Kim as far as not letting her use her length, and that Molly did the right things to create the ability for her to take that win. I loved at the end when she's pointing to the middle saying, let's throw down and stuff.
It was Molly used up too much energy in the beginning. She fought careless and reckless during that fight. Like in the first round, led to the headbutt, the clash of heads, we should say, like they were trying to point out. It was a clash of heads. It was accidental on both parts.
Yep.
And
both.
But it was up until that. Did you give Molly that first round?
It was close. I would have said she was probably ahead, but she ended up losing it from that point because she was not in a good position to throw. And so
Gotcha.
even if you realized it was a headbutt and that's what put her down, I thought that Kim won the first round and that Molly came back and definitely took the second and definitely took the third. And so, but it was a fun fight. They were both going for it. They were both trying to fight their style that was going to work for them. Kim was using good footwork. She was trying to use lateral movement. She was trying to create that distance where she could use that length advantage that she had. And Molly she couldn't make Molly pay enough to make it to where Molly stopped that forward pressure. And that's part of the fight game. You got to make that person respect you to the point they say, it hurts me to go inside there, so I don't want to take that chance very often.
Yeah. Molly did a great job of pushing the pace. She did a good job of fighting in the phone booth. She still kind of lacks a little bit in that clinch area. Now, I know that Kim seemed a little bit taller and longer in that type of body style. Kim didn't have the ability or the energy to really get her down. She was able to get her down, I think, once or twice, but it wasn't enough. I think she didn't do it enough. She could have made the fight easier by getting Molly down more often, I think, had she been able to get to the top position. But Molly did a better job of keeping it on the feet as well as fighting her in a phone booth. Every time she crushed the space and threw combinations in terms of 2s and 3s and 4s, she did well. When she only threw 1s and 2s, the jab, the reach, all that stuff of Kim made it more difficult for Molly to land stuff. She was always outside of range. So every time she tried to throw something and it was only a 1 and a 2, she was outside of range. She had to throw the 3 and the 4 for those to land. And I've said this a bunch of times in terms of when you feel like that you can't land the 1 and the 2, you need to throw the 3 and the 4 regardless if you think you're going to land it or not. As long as your technique is on point,
you got to put it out tucked,
you've got to throw it. And majority of the time, that 3 and 4 will land because your opponent knows that once you get in the habit of throwing just 1s and 2s and there is no 3s and 4s, that they can probably just back out away or you're too far away or they can just cover and not have to worry about it if you're not going to throw the 3 and the 4. And so she needed to throw the 3 and the 4, and when she did, she landed, and she was having success with those shots. But congratulations to her, man. She fought a good fight. There's a lot to come back from. She got dropped with the clash of heads in the first round. Kind of changes the way you fight for a little bit. Then she was able to recover and go through the the break between the rounds, and she came out in the second and she looked a lot better. So I tip my hat to her. I'm glad she got the win. She's moving on. Good stuff.
That was a big win for her. But the next fight is the one that, if you were talking about, Mike Bisping trying to pump somebody, everyone is trying to pump Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. He had a very impressive win against Luigi Vendramini. It's there's this comparison between him and Conor McGregor, and I'm like, no, it's not there. I'm sorry. And I've watched Paddy fight. I've watched him fight in Cage Warriors. I watched him against Soren Bach, which he lost. But he does have a very explosive ground game. He goes after a lot of big time flying techniques and things like that. But he got a good win here, and he looked good. But don't put the pressure on him to be the next Conor McGregor. And he didn't sound like Conor on the mic. He sounded like James Gallagher. That's who he sounded like to me on the mic when he was, James Gallagher.
Oh, yeah, a little bit, huh? He did. Now that I think about it, yeah, he did.
I thought he sounded a lot like James Gallagher. Yeah. But, I mean, look, he's a guy from the Liverpool area that, the UFC wants to put a lot of, attention on, and they should, because he's fun to watch. He's got a personality. I'm not too sure that technically in the stand-up he's going to be able to match up with the top 155ers there is. He leaves his chin way up in the air, and he's done it consistently. I'm not just talking about this fight. I watched him in Cage Warriors when he did the same thing. He has got to break some of the bad habits that he has, because he does leave his chin up in the air, and someone is going to touch it, and they're going to touch it good. If it's out there, eventually it's going to get smacked. And so, but he's fun. He's fun to watch, and that was a good win, a big win against a guy who, in Luigi, we've watched before. He was, I think, undefeated until he got into the UFC, and now he's had some rough ones.
Yeah, so I sat up here the other day and I said that Paddy the Baddy looked like a 12-year-old. When he walked out to the cage, he's a lot bigger than I thought. I was like, that does not look like the kid that I saw on the picture. No, he's grown into his body. Yeah, he's grown up a little bit since that picture. I mean, sure, dog, do yourselves a favor, man. Switch out your pictures every once in a while. That poor kid looks like he's 12 years old up there. He looks like a grown-ass man right now. When I saw him on the cage, I was like, God damn, he's huge. I mean, he's got to be, what is he, 5? He's 5'10", but he's got kind of a long, slender body. He looks like he's pretty well built. He's obviously got some punching power. He makes a lot of young mistakes, but he's 26 years old, and let him go. Let him do it. The thing is, though, is that he's gonna have to stay with this level of opponent for at least 3 or 4 more fights, because he's gonna need time to fix these mistakes that he's making. Like you said, chin in the air, hands down. He wings a lot.
If he doesn't, it's going to be trouble.
Yeah, he wings a lot of open shots. Guys that have power, they're going to touch him on the chin. It's going to be bad for him. And so, but I think, look, I'm going to go back to Bisping again, and look, he's doing the right thing in terms of he's pumping the people from his country. He's doing a good job in making sure, because he's doing a good job making sure that there's new interest in the UK. And because right now there really isn't any. The ones that staked their claim and started the sport for them over in the UK, they're gone. You had Dan Hardy, you had Michael Bisping, and you've had a group.
Ian Freeman was the first.
Yeah, exactly. But you had fighters from there that were phenomenal, but now they're gone. And so now they need to spark some interest and getting them back, getting some new fighters from there. And I'm glad they've got Molly, they've got Paddy Pimblett, they've got other good young fighters that are coming from there, and it's good that they're pumping him up. He's got a little bit of a rep to him. I'm not going to go as far to say as Conor McGregor, but he does have that little swagger to him, which is nice. It's good to have, but I feel like the UK fighters all have a little bit of that swagger. Got Darren Till, that type of stuff. These type of guys, they have that. The way they talk on the mic is fun. It's good, and I think with a little bit more experience, giving him guys like Luigi, and if he can continue to beat guys like Luigi, and he showed that he's a fighter tonight. Took some shots, got in trouble in the beginning of the fight, and then at the end of the first round was able to get him out of there. He showed that he was a fighter. He recovered. Those are the things that you, as a promoter, you want to see. And I think the UFC is just probably just chopping at the bit, going, look, we've got somebody here. We've got something at least we can build on. So they're happy about it. And I think in a show like tonight, where we said that on our midweek show, we said, this is when the fighters need to rise up. There's not a lot of big names on this card, but all it takes is for you to just rise up. It gives
you that opportunity.
Stand out. Yes, because you're not getting overshadowed by guys like, Darren Till and Derek Brunson. That's the main event, of course. But there's not a bunch of other ones that are on there. There's no Cody Garbrandts. There's no TJ Dillashaws. There's no, there's no Izzy's on there. There's no other top level fighters that are on there. It's all young and up and comers that are coming up. And it was your time to shine. And I think he did a great job in coming through tonight. Good stuff for him.
Oh, he did.
Another kid, 26 years old, right?
Stands out. That's what you want. So that was a good win for him. I really, especially since, what's that?
I said, please cut. He needs to cut his hair though. He looks like John and Punch. He looks like John.
He's got the
John
Beatles
from
haircut,
Chips.
man.
Do you remember the movie? Remember the sitcom Chips?
He's got the old Beatles haircut, man. That's from 1964. It's awesome.
Oh, I know what it's from. remember Chips, the motorcycle?
Yeah,
remember
man.
that?
John and Punch.
With John and Punch. He
Baker.
looks like John. He looks like John. That hair.
No, John's hair did not look like that.
Oh, what was Punch's hair look like that?
That haircut is pure freaking Paul McCartney, John Lennon, Ringo Starr, George Harrison.
No.
That's awesome.
All
right, let's talk about Khalil Roundtree, man.
That's a to-do list not to ever do again.
Good,
he did look good. He's got a lot of power.
You got to go different barber.
What's that?
He's, the big thing with Khalil is you never know what you're gonna. The big thing with Khalil is you never know what you're gonna get because he is. You can see the nerves when he's coming out. He is a guy that he's got nerves and he's got to settle in the fight, and he did, pretty quick because he landed some big shots. He saw that he hurt, Bukakis. It's a matter of he just at times. I look at him and I go back to his Eric Anders fight because he was so dominant in that fight, but because he knocked Anders down, I want to say 4 times in that fight, and some huge knockdowns, but always remained calm. But sometimes was a little too calm and didn't press when you had that opportunity to finish the fight. In this one, he did finish the fight. He finished it in a weird way with the basically the oblique kick, and it didn't hit his knee; it hit his thigh. But it bent his knee in and, caused Modestus to not be able to continue on. It hurt him and stuff. And you're going to hear all kinds of people now. And I heard you even on the Fight Companion with Quentin talking about John Jones and that terrible oblique kick. And it's horrible. Yeah. And, God, they should outlaw it. Cracks me up.
Yeah, but I think you should knee people in the head on the ground, though.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like, oh, yeah, that's good. But that kick is not. It's like, Which one's going to do more damage to your life? I'm not saying you could outlaw anything. You could take away anything in the sport. Will it change the sport? Yeah, it's going to change the sport. But if you're going to sit there and you're going to allow people to get kicked to the head, and you're going to allow all these things, you're allow me to knee you into the head, and all these things, and now you're going to say, "Oh, I can't throw a kick towards your knee." Come on, crazy.
I know it's a horrible.
Always the guys that are just
technique.
not good at dealing with it.
It's true. It's a horrible technique. I mean, I just think about. I think about the life injury of that. He's a year. He'll be gone for a year now. He's gonna have a hard time building his career back up. I understand what you're saying. I do get it. Like, would you rather get kicked in the head or would you rather have your knee blown out? Most people would say I'd rather get kicked in the head because it's over quicker and I can start training probably in about a month. Whereas your knee, you're out for a year.
And when I wake up, I'll feel better.
Yeah, exactly, right? Not always, but you will wake up, and then it's just that feeling of like, man, I'm out for a year. That's true. That feeling of I'm out for a year. How much money did I lose in that year of not training and rehabbing? And will I ever be the same? Will my knee ever be the same? Will my leg strength ever be the same? Will my mobility and my movement in that? Will I be able to hit triangles the same? Will I be able to shoot my double legs the same? Those are all things that go through your mind. I understand when people get knocked out to the head, whether it's with the hands or with knees to the head or head kicks, everything along this, it's something that you can't see. So the fact that I can't see the damage doesn't mean that it's not there, but it's, as a fighter, you're like, I don't worry about it. Don't care. But with my knee, you know that it changes the way you fight. It changes your game plan sometimes. If you have to shoot, now you have to shoot with the other leg forward. If you have to kick, maybe you can only kick with one side now. You never know. Like, it changes the way people fight. And so that's happened to me before. Not with my knee, but with my ankle. You know, I had to quit kicking to the body because it hurt me more than it hurt my opponents to kick people to the body. Even when I landed them clean, it still hurt me. And so it just was a shitty situation. I can imagine with the knee as well, you know, trying to hit butterfly guard. You know, how's that going to change with his mobility? So those are things that I think about. You know, I don't know how old he is. Modesta, I don't know how old he is, but he's probably, I'd say, somewhere around 28, 29. And what's his recovery going to be like? So hopefully he heals up quickly, has surgery, heals up quickly, and gets a comeback. What other fights? So the Morano fight, I wasn't overly impressed with. I thought Morano looked good, but it wasn't super action packed. He did what he needed to do to get the win. You know, it was good. It was a good performance, but for someone who is not a big guy, he fights very well against big guys. He did a really good job. He landed some clean shots. He does wing a lot. He does miss a lot, but he wings quite a bit. But I mean, overall, he seems like he's on track in terms of getting wins. What's his 7th win? I think is what they said. Can you click on Alex Moreno?
He's had a lot. I think his last loss was to Chaos Williams. He got knocked out real fast.
Oh no, he's not 7 wins. Lost to Pettis.
No, it was to Anthony Pettis.
What did I hear?
Chaos Williams was before that.
Got it. He beat Max Griffin, which is nice. Big win there. Beat Cerrone. Huh. I mean, overall though, he's got he sits more upright. He doesn't look like to be a big guy. He could probably make 55 if he really wanted to die down and kill himself. Yeah. But why? Why do that? He seems like he's one of those tweeners. And then what was the other fight? Oh, Aspinall. So
Tom Aspinall, Frank Mir's illegitimate son.
Yep. I wouldn't be. Hey.
I won't be surprised.
They look identical. I swear they look like they could be father-son type thing. It's hilarious. But overall, very talented. Movement, mobility, striking. You know, he seems really good. You know, and goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Is he's slow playing his success, which is great because I think he understands once you get up to that top 5, top 8, top 10 fighters in the heavyweight division, there's no going backwards. You know, and if you go backwards, it means that they're going to probably stop building you. And so he's got a lot of the natural talent and ability. He reminds me of a little bit of Cyril Gahn, like that movement, his mobility, all of that stuff. So I think, you know.
Well, he is fast. For a heavyweight, he's got fast hands. He's got good movement. But how many fights is that in the UFC for him? Like 4? I think that's his 4th fight. What do we got, Dave?
1, 2, 3,
4 fights?
4. Yep, 4 fights.
Yep.
4 fights.
You know, he did have the fight against Andrei Arlovsky. I think that was another last-minute replacement. Arlovsky took the fight against him. But you take a look at who he's fighting. You know, you got to figure Sergey just beat I can't even say it. Alexei Oleinik. So that was a big win for Sergey. And this is a big win for Tom because he handled him cleanly. And that was a very well-placed elbow the way he did it. I know right away Dan Cormier was saying, it was a beautiful right hand. I go, dude, that was an elbow, man. Yeah. Nick cut him open good. But it was extremely well-placed, and then he finished up with him. But you could see the real difference in that fight was the speed difference. Aspinall's way faster. And he's a good athlete. You can see it. Now, you know, he's got 2 losses to guys early in his career, but he's coming along, and I think he's doing the exact thing that he should be doing. Don't be trying to race yourself to the top. Take that nice, steady climb. I loved when he said, if I'm 13, give me 12. Perfect way to look at it. I'm always trying to take that next step up, but I'm not trying to make that giant jump. And this is the experience, and it is experience that you get. And he was very honest when he said, you know, I'm scared to death when I come in here. And you are, you know, and it's not, you're not scared of your opponent. You're scared of failure. You're scared of not doing something, you know, to your ability and looking bad. And so that's what he's scared of. And you're always going to have that. It's just your ability to deal with it and to section it off, control it. You know, I think he's making all the right statements. He's making all the right moves, and I expect big things out of him in the heavyweight division. He's going to be one of those guys.
Yeah, I expect him to be successful, especially as he gets a little bit older and he matures a little bit more and he just develops more knowledge, more wisdom inside that cage. And I think the way he's approaching it is very, it's good for him, and it's very rare
mature.
that you find, very mature. It's very rare that you find young talent that is as good as him that are trying to slow play it. They usually want to rush and get to the top, and I'm going to be there. Great.
They all do. Give me the belt.
Yep, give me the belt.
All right, we want to talk about one of our favorite products, Fume. It is the best way if you are a smoker to quit smoking, quit vaping naturally. It replaces that hand-to-mouth habit that you get because you're a smoker with flavorable, I can't even talk, I'm so excited about it, plant-like flavors. It curbs the nicotine cravings with black pepper. There's a menthol sensation, which you'll get out of the peppermint or eucalyptus, and there's also stress relief with the lavender and cinnamon. So no smoke, no vape, no nicotine, and no harmful chemicals that can hurt you. Just plants. You got to head to www.breathefume.com/weighing in. Now, Breathe Fume is BREATHE and then FUM with no E. Don't put an E on the end of fume, just FUM. Go to that, and that will be where you can get 10% off by being a Weighing In listener. You get that 10% off, and you can go and actually get one of their natural packs. They have an entire pack where you can get the Fume Prominent, which is the inhaler. It's the tube that you'll put the core into. You'll get 1 pack of Conquer, 1 pack of Peppermint, 1 pack of Black Pepper, and the newest White Cranberry. They are all outstanding. I like the way they make you feel. It's just a clean and effervescent feeling. It's not like smoking. You can do it on a plane. You can do it on a boat. You can do it anywhere, and it's not going to bring anybody else into your world. As far as there's no smoke going out there, you're not going to bother anyone. It is one of the greatest products out there. If you want to quit smoking, go to Fume. It is outstanding.
And now we're going to talk about the main event. So Derek Brunson and Darren Till. The story was he couldn't stop the takedowns. He took some big damage in the first round. Sometimes you get overzealous, and he had hurt Brunson in the third round. He had hurt him, and he got a little too overzealous, kept chasing after him, and eventually got pushed to the fence. Hands were locked, and once Derek Brunson's hands were locked, he was able to lift, get the takedowns. He's just nasty on top, man. He's got good heavy hip pressure. He's a good wrestler. He has slowed down a little bit in Brunson. Brunson slowed down a little bit. Like, his speed on his feet is not very good. Like,
nope.
He's slowed down considerably. And so it's gonna be hard for him, I think, to beat guys like Izzy. I think Darren Till had opportunities and chances, but you could tell he was extremely nervous about getting taken down. So he had defended a couple takedowns, but once he got taken down, he had no answer for the bottom. He had no half guard get up. He had no butterfly sweeps. He had no kick you back and get back to your feet. There was nothing. I was expecting a little bit more off the bottom from Darren Till.
I look at this, and there is something, and I don't know what it is, but when I watch Derek Brunson, I'm always on the edge of my seat he's getting tired. He's slowing down quickly. I mean, we're talking first round. You'll look and you go, ooh, he's starting to get tired. And even Darren Till, after the first round, went back to his corner and said he's tired. It's visible. And it's like, I don't know if, Derek may have had a rough camp. He may have been injured. He wasn't able to do all the things that he would like to do to get himself in that peak form of condition and stuff. But he cannot go into a fight with, Izzy and think he's going to win with the gas tank that he had against Darren Till. That's just not going to happen. You can't go into that thinking this is going to work for me. And I'm not saying he's not putting in the effort. I thought he's done outstanding since he's been with Sanford MMA. All the wins he's gotten, and he's always been the underdog. He was the underdog again today. And I thought if he could get Till off of his feet, he had a very good chance of winning the fight. But I'm really in that, man, he's not the explosive fighter that he once was. I think he's a smarter fighter, much smarter as far as the way he goes about doing stuff, but that explosiveness is really dissipated down, and I'm really in that position of, man, some guys just get tired. They have that fast twitch muscle fiber, and it just does. They cannot maintain those paces, and it did not look good after the first round as far as his conditioning. Now, he came out and he was okay again, but again, he had moments where you look and you said he's tired, and he's going to have to get past that. Yeah, he's right. He's at that 5'6" mark, but you look at the guys that are ahead of him, they don't get tired.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever seen Izzy in a position where I'd say he was really tired, yeah, you could say against Gastelum, and anybody would, because that was just an amazing fight with a ton of damage and a ton of pace and pressure. It was just incredible. So that one and Blachowicz, he looked a little tired. But other than that, you don't see Whitaker getting tired. You don't see Cannonier really getting tired. You're looking at those top guys and you're going, no one there gets tired. And if you're the guy that's getting tired, that's not a good place for you to be. Vettori, he doesn't get tired for the most part. He can bring it, he can go. Jack Hermanson, he doesn't get tired. Derek's the one guy you look and you go, he gets tired. So it was a good win, a great win against a guy that I consider very dangerous on the feet. Till is very good with his stand-up, but he's going to have to figure out what is that thing that's going to take him to that point where he doesn't have to worry about that getting tired coming into effect.
Yeah, we're going to see, man. I think I agree with you in terms of it's going to take, he's going to have to do something. I don't know if he's carrying too much muscle, if he's carrying a little bit too much weight. Yeah. Something's going on. You said fast twitch, but I didn't see anything fast twitch from him tonight. He's not fast twitch anymore. He used to be fast twitch. He used to be explosive.
If you go back to his strike, when he was in Strikeforce.
Yep.
Look, he was fast, and he had some really impressive performance. And then, you go back and watch his fight against Yoel Romero. I mean, he was beating Yoel. He was
taking him down.
Oh, fuck yeah. And that guy is gone as far as the speed. Now, I do think he fights more intelligently now. I think he's a smarter fighter as far as the way he approaches the fight and the way once he's in the cage, what he does, as far as, dealing with his opponent. I thought he was smart against Shabazian. I thought it was a great performance. I thought he was smart against Holland. Great performance. This, a good performance. He was smart in taking him down and doing damage. I loved when he was posturing up in the first round, the way he was bringing those shots. They were heavy. That's what we talk about, man. Posture will create damage for you if you use it the right way. And he was. And I can understand why by the end of it he's a little tired, because he put out a lot of energy. But he's going to have to go 5 rounds. And to go 5 rounds right now, he went 5 rounds with Holland. He was tired. But this one, he was tired, at the end of the first. And so there's got to be something done to make up that space.
Yeah, if I put him in against Izzy, I think he's got a good chance in the first round and a half, 2 rounds, if he can get the fight to the ground. Because we've seen when Izzy fought Jan that it wasn't, he didn't have a whole lot off of his back either. No. And so, but the thing is, if you look at him, he's a big, tall, long guy. He's physically strong. He's a lot harder to take down, I think, than Darren Till is. But it's going to be, it's going to be hard because Izzy's striking is a lot cleaner and crisper than Darren Till's. When it comes down to it, Izzy picks and chooses his shots, and they come fast and they come very accurate. So it's not, I don't know. I don't want to sound like he doesn't have a chance. He's got a chance, but I look at the way Izzy fights and the way he's fighting right now. I don't know. It doesn't give me a lot of confidence. But let's not take too much away from him tonight. He had a great fight. No. He had a good win. He dominated the first 2 rounds. He did what he had to do. And he started looking like he started getting tired in the third, but he got clipped. But look, the thing with him, even when he looks tired, he still finds ways to get the win, get the takedown. Yep. So you got to give him credit.
Got to give it to him. Yeah, got to give it to him. That's a big win against a guy that the UFC really would have liked Darren Till to win that fight, so they could push him towards the Izzy fight. But I like the fact that Derek, doesn't care. You're going to be stuck with me. That's the way to do it. Good job for you, Derek.
True. All right, well, hey, Dave, what else you got for us, man? We get into some news?
Yep, let's hop into some news. So the first piece of news coming out is Charles Oliveira talking about the potential fight with Dustin Poirier. It's expected to happen in December at UFC 269, and so that's kind of like the expectation around that fight right now.
Yeah, I think it's a great fight. I honestly believed, I thought I wouldn't be surprised though if Dustin doesn't fight him and fights somebody like Nate Diaz. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Now, look, I understand the belt means a lot. I get it. I understand that, but he's kind of done everything that he needs to do in the sport. He was the interim champion. Who cares? He's fought the best guys in the world. I know, but still, he still has the belt at home, my friend.
Yeah, guess what? He knows and he wants.
Oh, I get it. But this is a really tough fight for him. Stylistically,
this is a good fight for him. Yeah, Charles, this is one of his toughest.
This will be one of his toughest fights. And Charles right now he's on another level, like not another level above him. I'm just simply saying the two of these guys are on just different levels than the rest of the rest of the division. The rest of the division is not on par with these two. And so this fight, yes, I would love for it to happen. I would love for it to happen this year. And Dustin's got his hands full because this guy can fight everywhere. He can fight on the feet. He can fight on the ground. But if this fight hits the ground, Charles Oliveira is leaps and bounds above Dustin on the ground. And that's not a dig. That's not a dig at all on Dustin at all. But when it comes to transition grappling, I haven't seen too many guys that are as good as him on the ground, Charles Oliveira. And that's what I mean in terms of the grappling portion of it. Look, it's one thing when Dustin jumps on the head and arm choke because he's strong and he can get there. I understand that, and he fights for that and he gets that submission. That's fine. But when it comes to, hey, I missed the arm bar, I'm going to go to triangle. And I missed the triangle, now I'm going to attack the knee bar. That's the type of transitions that I'm talking about that you're going to get from someone like a Charles Oliveira. And I don't know if that's a level on the ground that Dustin's ready for. I mean, don't get me wrong, with punches, things change. But that's going to be a really hard fight for Dustin to have to deal with if he's thinking, do I punch or do I defend the submission? Or do I defend the submission and then all of a sudden now I'm getting punched? It's a weird combination in which he's going to have to deal with when you know somebody's as good as Charles is on the ground. Dustin on the feet, I give it to him because he's got the power, the southpaw stance, the straight left, the way he puts his combinations together, the way he rips the body. I give it to him on the feet. So it's really going to come down to who can implement their game plan. But I mean, the way I saw Charles taking people down, the way he's done, I was like, damn, he's good. He's tough. So it's going to be a fun fight.
I think there's other equations you got to look at when looking at this fight. I agree with you. On the ground, Charles is the better submission guy. That's why Charles has the UFC record for the most submissions. Okay, there's a reason why he has it. He's that good, and he transitions incredibly well from one attempt to another. He's always putting you in danger. He's making you have to defend, which makes it to where you can't be offensive against him, and that makes it, that he's going to come away with the win in the fight. And that's why he's where he's at. But you look at the stand-up, I think that Charles has got very good stand-up, but when it comes to fighting against a southpaw, it's going to change some of his stand-up. It's going to change what he's effective with, and the kicks are going to affect him in a different way because Charles does lead with a heavy leg when he's trying to be powerful, and he's going to try to be powerful against Dustin. The big difference here that I see is one guy goes 5 rounds hard. One guy doesn't. Dustin can go and build in each round. He gets better and better where Charles starts off good and starts to tail off. He's got that fast twitch muscle fiber difference and stuff where he's got to be the guy in control of the pace for him to be comfortable in the fight. And Dustin does a very good job of taking control of the pace and the pressure in the fight. So I think conditioning-wise, just the guy that can go longer, harder is Dustin Poirier. The guy that's got the better submission game is Oliveira. The guy that's better in the stand-up overall, look, they're close. Like you said, I think Dustin has more power than Oliveira. But, it all comes down to that, we'll see. And that's the best part about it because they both have their elements where they can win the fight. And they both have elements where you look and you go, if this comes into play, this could be the difference in that fight. And so I think it's a great championship fight. I cannot wait for it, and I think it's the right fight for Dustin Poirier. I think it's the right fight for Charles Oliveira and the right fight for Dustin, because Charles needs to beat Dustin for everyone to look at him and go, yep, you're the guy. And Dustin needs to be, in that position where undisputed is by his name. Just the way I look at it.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. I don't think Charles needs to beat Dustin. I think Charles just done what he needed to do to become the champ. And I think if anyone needs to beat anybody, it would be Dustin needs to beat Charles, because Charles is the champ. Now, look, fighting somebody like Conor obviously was good for the bank account, but at the end of the day, everyone's going back going, all right, you beat Conor, but Conor was inactive or just wasn't as good as Conor used to be. So you beat a guy that really wasn't at championship level. And if you're going to say that, hey, you want to fight somebody, don't shake your head. No, it's true. Conor was not at championship level, and Dustin beat him twice. Okay, that's just the facts.
Okay, this comes down to the whole thing. I love it because this is when people talk about Cyborg and Nunez, and they're saying, "Oh, she's already beat her." Well, Conor beat Dustin once before and then lost twice, and that's what happens when you have really good fighters go against each other. You can have one, win one contest, and the other one's going to win the next. That's the difference. But you can say, well, I'll agree that Conor I think he made mistakes. He's still a great fighter. You can't take away he's a great fighter. He made mistakes in the second fight where he fought it like a boxer. He took away some of the things that made him dangerous by fighting a different style of fight, because he was looking towards the future and he was going to fight somebody else in a boxing ring. That didn't work out well. He came back in the third one, and he was losing the fight, but the broken leg is what stopped it in the end. Okay, but he's still top-level fighter.
Okay, but what I was saying was that he wasn't championship-level fighter. That's what my point was. Charles Oliveira is championship-level fighter. Right now, at this peak in his career, he's at the championship level of his career. He fought Chandler, beat Chandler. He fought Tony before that. He beat Tony. He's beat whoever he's needed to beat to get to the title. He's now the champion.
That's true.
Dustin has done the same thing. I'm not knocking what Dustin's done at all. I'm a huge Dustin fan.
Well, obviously you're not, because you're definitely putting him down, saying he didn't beat champion-level people.
I am not.
I think Conor had 2 championships, so he beat championship-level people.
John, calm down. Pump the brakes, buddy. When you said that Charles had to prove that he had to beat Dustin to prove that he was undisputed, I didn't think that was true. I think that shouldn't be the case, because he beat who he needed to beat to become the champion. That's not
what I said. No, that's not what I said.
I'm going to rewind the tape.
You go ahead and rewind it. I said Dustin wants to hear the word undisputed, and the only way he can do that is by beating Charles. And Charles needs to have it to where there are people out there that are saying that Dustin Poirier is the best lightweight in the world, and he needs to have that win to prove them wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I don't think Charles needs to prove it to anybody. He's the champ right now, and that's it. That's the bottom line.
You're so wrong. You are so wrong.
No, he doesn't need to prove it to anybody. He has looked phenomenal in beating everybody that he's faced, and Dustin's looked phenomenal as well. But one is the champ. One is the champ, and one is not. So the champ doesn't need to prove anything to anybody.
Okay, but hold on.
Come get it.
Who did the champ beat to get that title? Mike Chandler. Okay, that's a good fight. I'm not saying it's not. Yeah. But Dustin Poirier beat Justin Gaethje to get that interim title, and then he ran into the guy that, if you're talking about, we were talking about these guys are a level above. There's the one guy that was just a level above that, And so I just look at it. I do think that this is a fight that Charles needs to put his stamp on. I am the best in this weight class.
I could see that. I could see what you're saying when you put it that way. You didn't put it that way to begin with, so that's why I had to give you a hard time. Okay, that's why. My point is that he doesn't need to prove anything to anybody.
Take the wax out of your ears.
He's the man right now. He's the man. I think he's a stud. Dustin and him is going to be a great fight. Okay, to go back on, we've been ranting on this for long enough. This can be a great fight. If it happens in December, great. If Dustin decides to take the money fight and go with Nate Diaz, I'm just gonna tell you I told you so.
Dustin, don't ever listen to Josh Thompson. I was
Take the
all
money
for you
fight.
taking the money fight with Conor. I understand that one. This is the one you want. This one against Oliveira, that's the fight.
The Diaz fight is the money fight, bro.
Well, if you want to,
You
say
know who
which
the real
one's more
money. You know
dangerous.
who the real fucking money fight is, Dustin. Take the money fight. What else you got for us, Dave?
All right, sticking to the theme of UFC 269, Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena title fight is happening.
Well, I mean, if they've already scheduled it and they kind of have it's scheduled, I'm glad that Amanda Nunes is fine. I'm glad that her family is fine after having been struck down with COVID. Even the baby, I guess, had it. So it's good that everybody is good. And I'm glad that she can get back into training, man. Nothing has changed on the way I feel about this fight. I think Juliana Pena's got her fucking hands full. If she can't get this fight to the ground, she's going to have a really, really rough night. But if she can get the fight to the ground, and she can be on top, not pulling guard. If she's on bottom, she's getting smashed too. Okay, but if she's able to get on top and do some work, I could see her having a better night. But every round, this fight starts on the feet. And I'm sorry, but that power doesn't go anywhere between the rounds. That's it. She still possesses knockout power every damn round, tired or not. So it's a tough fight, John. It's just a tough fight, period.
Yeah, for Juliana, I think you're right. You know, and I really respect Juliana and the skill set she brings in. When she is in the top position for ground and pound, she is outstanding. She's vicious. She's super heavy. She's got great positioning, great base and balance. But I hate to do that. Take a look at what Amanda brings to the table. This is someone that understands how to stop the takedown. Someone who on the ground is just as good. It is a question on who can get to that top position if this fight ends up on the ground. On the feet, there is a night and day difference between these two. On the feet, Amanda has got way more power. She's way more technical, and she's longer. Just everything is in the advantage for her in the stand-up. She's got to make a big mistake for Juliana to have something happen in the stand-up. On the ground, that's the difference, and it's all about who's in the top position. But, since, Kat Zingano, there hasn't been, many people that have been able to be in the top position against Amanda. I'm not saying it hasn't happened at a moment's time, but then she scrambled out. But Kat was the only one, the last one that I can remember, that was able to get in a dominant position in top and be, with Amanda on her back. So can Juliana do it? Absolutely. It's possible. I just don't see it happening that often in the fight. And like you said, for 5 rounds, it starts on the feet. That's a bitch if you're Juliana.
This is at 135.
Yep.
Yeah, so listen, the other thing too Amanda Nunes has to worry about is she has to get her weight back down. She had fought several times at 145. She likes obviously to fight at 145. That weight cut sucks. And for most people, they don't understand is that for females, it's a lot harder to cut weight to get down to that weight class. So if they don't sweat like the guys do. It doesn't come out as easy. And then sometimes, females have to schedule their bouts around whatever their cycle is. Because it makes it, they have to schedule their fights. They have to schedule their fights.
It's something they have to think about because, you have a period and it's hard to take weight off. You're carrying water. They have it rougher than guys, no doubt about it. But, the thing to think about is it is September 5th. That fight is December 11th. She has all the time that is needed for her to bring her weight exactly where it needs to be, and she's a professional. There's no doubt she'll be just fine.
Got it. All right, Dave, what else?
Next piece of news, and some good news. George Masvidal, he had an event scheduled, and he moved it to October to just kind of support what's going on with Hurricane Ida right now.
Yeah, I had seen it on his Instagram. He had basically said that because his event was going to take up like a whole block of rooms, hotel rooms, that he decided to move it to another date when people didn't need hotel rooms. So after the hurricane, he made sure that the event was moved till potentially after when everyone was pretty much done, needing to have access to the hotel room. So I got to tip my hat to him, man. Good call. Way to be considerate and way to look out for others. I like that, man.
Super necessary.
I like to hear it. Yeah, super necessary. Well
there you
played,
go.
John.
Hey, you got to look, and this is what, when people look at this and they're going to go, "Oh, that's no big deal." Moving, no, it cost him money. He's going to lose money in moving the date because he's already put out a lot of marketing and done things for that date. So it's going to come out of his pocketbook, and it's not easy to lose money no matter who you are. And so, way to go, George, making the right call. It's for the right reasons, and I hope your event goes, when you reschedule it, I hope it makes it all back. He's
a good dude.
He is. Always has been.
He's an OG. Love it. All right, what else, Dave?
He is an OG, dude.
Is Dos Anjos speculating a potential retirement? He came out and said that basically the fight with Islam is his last chance to get to the title.
No, I don't think
I think he's right.
It is. I think it is the last chance for me to get the title, but I don't think it's speculation of retirement. What it is that saying, "Hey, if I don't win this fight, they probably will not. They probably won't let me have another run." That doesn't mean I'm not gonna. That doesn't mean I'm gonna quit fighting. It just means that I'm probably not gonna get another shot at getting into that title. So, I mean, he's come to grips with the reality, and the reality is that at his age, they are not going to make any pushes for him to get back to the title shot.
Yeah. This is normal when you're, especially in the lightweight division, which is super competitive with a ton of talent. When you're getting up into the upper 30s of age, they're not looking at you to be the champion, because they're looking at someone that's younger that they can help build along the way, like in Charles Oliveira. But this is, in my opinion, I think RDA is being absolutely honest. He's being truthful. He's saying, look, this is my last chance. If I can beat Islam Makhachev, that propels me towards that title match. If I don't beat him, then I'm probably never going to get that opportunity again. I think he's being honest. I think he's being truthful. I think he's being smart. It is the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts. In this situation, it doesn't hurt. It gives you information of, hey, put it all on the line in this against this guy, because this is my chance to get back to where I want to be. So good job for RDA.
Yep, it's hard to admit it sometimes to yourself, and he's done that, and I think he understands the significance of this fight. So
yeah, exactly.
He's got his hands full. What else, Dave?
Next piece is the bout with Oscar De La Hoya and Vitor Belfort is off due to COVID.
COVID takes even the vaccinated. They're going down. De La Hoya being vaccinated gets COVID, and that's hold it. Let's just be honest. I'm not saying this fight won't happen maybe later on. He lost a lot of money from COVID. This one. That is not a funny situation. I'm laughing. I'm sorry. I don't think it's funny that he got sick. I feel bad for him, but that took a lot of money out of his pocket.
I read a study just this morning that Israel is the most vaccinated country in the world at 84%. And they have the highest cases of COVID right now. Isn't that strange to me? Anyways,
yeah.
All right, I don't want to get into it too much. That was just something that I read, and then because he came out and said he was vaccinated, and I was like, oh man, so he's got COVID. Hopefully he heals up, and we get to see him fight. He said he was training, said he was in good shape, and he was ready to fight. So, but look, they're also talking about having Vitor now fight Holyfield. The fight is I guess fully scheduled now, and they're going to move it to Florida.
Yeah, because California would not license Evander Holyfield. They said, you try to put that fight together, we will not allow you to have it here. So they're moving the entire show to Florida.
Horrible, John.
What's horrible? Tell me.
I don't want to see Evander Holyfield ever fight again.
Okay.
At that age, and people that I know that talk to him, and I've seen interviews with him, it's like he's talking in a fucking snorkel mask. Like, you can't understand. He's like, it's not. I think as a promoter, you guys need to stay away from fights like that. It's just not
promoters.
Good.
Come on, a promoter wants to make money. That's all Triller is trying to do in this, and to bring Evander in. And I love Evander. I've done a lot of things with him. He's a great guy.
Yeah,
wonderful human being. He should not be fighting anymore. He should not be taking any shots. And I'm going to tell you right now, in a normal boxing atmosphere. Against Vitor, look, Evander Holyfield would have smoked Vitor prime for prime in a stand-up boxing match. I mean, it wouldn't be close. Vitor's been training for this. Evander has not been training. He's going to come into this, and now he's always working out a little bit, but that doesn't mean that he's ready for an 8-round fight. This is not a good situation, and I do not agree with what Florida is allowing. And this is the problem with athletic commissions. This is the problem where you have what I call kingdoms. You have an athletic commission in California who was sanctioning the De La Hoya versus Vitor fight because it's reasonable. At a weight, it's reasonable to say, okay, but the age difference isn't quite so much. What is De La Hoya now? De La Hoya's at 50, I want to say.
No, he's not. I think he's only 47, 48.
Okay, I was going to say 49, 50, something like that.
Somewhere, I think he's 40, 48.
Because Evander's my age.
48.
I know. 48. Okay, that's 10 years difference. There's a huge difference between 48 and 58. Especially going, with someone like Vitor. This is a fight that you take a look at the amount of punishment throughout his career that Evander Holyfield took at 58 years of age. He doesn't need to take any more damage. And this is where I say California's looking and saying, no, you can get Evander to say, yes, he'll take it, but we're not going to license him, so you can't do it here. And then in steps another athletic commission says, yeah, we'll do it. And you look and you go, what are you doing, man? Why are you doing this? There's no reason for it. But you'll always find an athletic commission say, oh yeah, we'll do it, because they're not caring about Evander. They're not taking anything into consideration as far as, because he says he wants to do it. Is he prepared to do it? And is he doing it against someone that physically outmatches him at this point of his life in speed, in strength, and in everything else? It's not healthy for him. Yeah. Probably not a good idea to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I also look at it too, like if I was Vitor Belfort, I got to be thinking too, like if something happens to him, if I beat him and something happens to him, like that's going to be on you.
Oh, you're the one living with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't take the fight. Just my personal opinion. But, All right, what else you got for us, Dave?
All right, next piece is something we normally wouldn't talk about on here, but just, wanted to talk about it more from like a general standpoint. It made the rounds on Twitter this week. It was quite a heavy subject with a video attached to it, obviously. And it was Ariel Helwani basically got into it with Brendan Schaub over Brendan Schaub's comments about Ariel being difficult to work with at ESPN. The video went viral in the MMA community, and just kind of like getting you guys' take on like these non-fighters that have a presence in the MMA scene, but they're not fighters, and they have these internet beefs, and obviously Brendan is a former fighter, but not now.
All right, everyone, now go to mybookie.ag, use the promo code WayneIn, and also scan your barcode to get your extra bonus. If you go to mybookie.ag, use the promo code WayneIn. They'll give you a little extra spending cash for all the bets you can pick up coming up on sports, football, basketball, all the events that are coming. Hockey is now starting as well, coming up soon. So all these events are now be available on mybookie.ag. Use the promo code WayneIn, and like I said, if you scan that barcode, you will be able to get an extra bonus. I think the whole thing's stupid. Like, that's what I think.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing is stupid. Like, just, Brendan said something apparently that wasn't true, and he reached out to Ariel and said, hey, you know what? I want to apologize, overstepped, whatever it was. And then Ariel came out and said, hey, you know what? I don't work for ESPN anymore. I don't work on a platform where I need to be the bigger man. And, I want you to apologize publicly. I can see both sides of it all, but at the end of the day, I think it's stupid. That's what I think. I think it is what it is. Look, a lot of people like Ariel, and some people don't like Ariel. Some people that I know have worked with him didn't like him, and I heard him say that he has.
Some people like Josh Thompson. Some people don't like.
Some
Josh
people
Thompson.
don't.
I'm one of the ones that doesn't.
You know what I mean? Like I've had people that worked with him that said they didn't like working with Ariel, but then I know a lot of people that loved working with him, and that's just the way it's going to be. It's going to always be that way. A lot of people love fighting for the UFC. A lot of people loved fighting for Bellator, but some people didn't like either one of them. And so this is what makes the world go round. But the fact that it got blown up out of proportion and stuff, and it just, like I said, I think the whole thing is stupid. You know, like a lot of, I have no ill will towards Ariel, and I know I've bagged on him a little bit here and there, but those are from my personal experiences and things that we've had said come across from the ways that I did interviews with him and the way he put it. And like Aljo was on his show, and the way Ariel had put a clip or a headline, it bugged Aljo. And with all the respect, you know, that happens to fighters. They get pissed off and they get upset over the media that does that, because it happens all the damn time. You know what I mean? And it's frustrating as an athlete. You know, you're trying to go about your business in your life, and you're trying to be one of the best in the world. And then you've got media that do shit like that. And Ariel has been known to do that. Now, look, I'm not saying that he's not a good journalist. If I was going to say anybody was a good journalist in this sport, he's one of them. Okay. But I do get a little upset sometimes with the headlines that he posts. It is the clickbait sometimes, you know, and he knows what he's doing. He's a smart guy. You know, I don't want people to get into this. Like he will sometimes play the victim, and he's not the victim, you know, and I like him I actually do like him, despite what people, like I said, I've had issues with him in the past just for my own personal stuff, but that's my own personal stuff. So outside of that, what Brendan did or said, and if it, you know, whatever it was, it's just, to me, it's stupid. I think Brendan did what he was supposed to do. He reached out to him and said, hey, you know what? I overstepped. I apologize. You know, and then that was it. With Ariel took it to the next level, and he wants to do it publicly. I mean, he's a man. He can do it. Say whatever you want. You know, it doesn't mean that Brendan's going to do it, you know, but both of them need to work it out. However it works out, they need to sit and just chat with it and work it out. So, you know, I don't know. I think the whole thing is dumb, just because it's like you said, it's a Twitter beef. It's not like they're ever going to fight. They're never going to solve it and resolve it, you know.
Ooh, I want to see that one. That'll last about 3 seconds.
No, we like Ariel, so we just gotta let him just do. You know, I understand though. His hands were a little bit tied. John, working for ESPN, he's got to take the high road. Now he's saying he's not high road Helwani anymore, I think is what he called it. You know, but it was just funny because you like just to hear him kind of talk shit was pretty funny. I was getting a giggle out of it. I thought it was funny,
now.
But it's Helwani. But it was it was kind of cool that he was kind of going hard in the paint.
Let's just put it this way. Ariel loves pro wrestling, and he was doing his best pro wrestling shtick. Okay, but here's
good.
The problem.
It was good, John. It was good.
Was
John.
it good? Okay. But here is the problem with it, and I have no problems with Ariel at all. I like Ariel. I know Ariel got mad at me when I tweeted something about a statement he had made on a 30 for 30, because I was like, "What? Don't follow what is, you know, the story. Follow the truth." But we worked it out. But my problem is this: why is it when people all of a sudden get associated with the fight game? And I used to see it with athletic commission people, you know, that are, you know, they're given an assignment by a governor to be part of an athletic commission, or they're given a job to be an executive director, and all of a sudden they're tough guys. Yeah. You know, all of a sudden, you know, they're real tough, and it's like, dude, you're not tough. Stop. It's okay that you can't fight. All right, you don't have to know how to fight. You have to know the people that can give you the right information so you can do the right thing. My problem is this: if Ariel wants to continue on with this, you know, whole thing, you know, there can be the guy that's not as nice as Brendan, who will say, all right, when I see you, I'm going to gangster slap the shit out of you across the stage, and let's see what you do about it. So, you know, you have to be, if you're Ariel and you want to say, hey, I don't like what you've done, I think, you know, you owe me an apology. Okay, you can do that. That's fine. Stop with the whole pro wrestling shtick. Okay, those guys.
I thought it was funny, John. I thought it was funny though.
No, I look at it and it gets to the point of stop. And you're not a tough guy. You're not a fighter. You're not a guy, because, you know, he's done it before in the past. Stop being that guy that, you know, he is a great reporter. Now
he is.
He's a great reporter. And, you know, to sit there and to say, you know, he does good interviews when he does his shows and stuff. He knows how to talk with people and stuff. Don't get into this, you know, whole thing of, you know, like just the the heel shtick of, you're going to do this or something. Don't be tough. Just be the good person that you are.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's hard because you can tell he is a good person.
He is a good person.
Yeah, I see the way he talks about his, his kids, his life.
Yeah.
And it's like he is. And so when he comes across the way he came across, it's a little bit like, all right, it was too much.
It's pro wrestling.
It is.
It really
But
was.
Look, all of that stuff to the side, like you said, and I like I said also, he is a good journalist. He does great interviews. He does poke the bear a little bit here in his interviews. He knows what he's doing when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
And he does.
That's his job at times.
He does do clickbait sometimes, to get more attention to it, especially in a hot topic. He knows what he's doing, but that's what journalists do. And as a fighter and as an athlete and whoever else, you have to learn to deal with that. And it's hard. It's hard because when you look at Ariel, you're like, all right, I know that this guy can't fight. So but when he does this, like these type of things where he's like, hey, I want you to do it publicly. I think also too, when you start doing that to fighters, you start like Brendan is a former fighter. He was in the UFC for a while. And that's kind of like, okay, now you're taking I understand you're upset about it, but now you're taking it to the next level of like, hey, it's degrading a little bit. And I understand I understand what he meant with Brendan. Like, hey, you've been saying this for I don't know how long about this, and that, and saying things that were not true. And that could be upsetting. I think he finally had enough. I understood that. But him just saying that Brendan reached out to him publicly and apologized, him saying that on his show and his channel and all the other stuff, that should be enough.
That's my point.
That should be enough to me. Anyways, but I get it. I understand his frustration. I get it. Because people have given him a hard time for the longest time. So Ariel, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, because you've mentioned us a couple times.
Hold on, let me ask you this.
Buddy.
How many people have said bad things about you?
Yeah.
How many? Come on, just be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he took a little jab at me on his show with DC. Oh, the Josh Thompson guy, the podcast guy, right? I mean, he took a little dig at me also. I mean,
okay.
Did he used to fight? Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Okay,
yeah,
so and that's my
point. I laugh about it.
There you go. It's called thick skin. How many people say bad things? Look, you got to have thick skin.
Yeah.
Okay, and you got to be able to let it roll off your back. It's just part of what it is.
Yeah. They'll get it sorted out. That's the biggest thing is they'll get it sorted out.
I hope so. They're both good guys.
They're both good guys. It should have never got blown up to what it is now. So, all right, Dave,
Next.
you got anything else? Next?
Yep. Last one. So I had a fighter reach out to me asking a question. It's kind of more for John, but he'd reached out. He's a huge fan of the show, so wanted to get his question on because it pertains to his fight specifically. He said he was in a tournament for a 1FC contract, but he gets screwed by the judges. He says, I was in my opponent's hometown. My question for both of you is, do you think it's worth the cost to get out of state judges for events?
Well, whose cost though? The promotion's cost? They're not going to do that.
When you're talking, I don't know who you're talking about, but if he had a fight for 1FC or something like that, you're normally talking that's being done overseas, somewhere in Singapore or China or somewhere in Southeast Asia.
Mm-hmm.
And to sit there and say, as far as the judging, as far as them bringing in judges outside, they bring in the judges they want. Now, if you're talking about in North America, being, the Association of Boxing Commissions and stuff, you will see that they do bring in a lot of judges from certain areas, people that are sitting in those seats quite often because they're considered the best, and you're putting a lot of pressure on your people to put them sometimes in the bigger fights. And you as a commission, if you bring in some of the people that are well known, you're trying to say, hey, I'm bringing in the best people there are for this. I'm bringing in what I can to make sure that these fights are judged correctly. If they are not, in the end, if that fight is not judged correctly, it's not on the commission. It's more on the judges, because the commission brought in the people that all the experts would say, yeah, that's one of the best judges to bring in, or three of the best judges. So if they put their own people in those seats and then there's a bad decision, that's when the commission can get they're in the hot seat because you didn't do the right thing. You didn't bring in the people that are considered the best.
Yeah.
So with ONE FC, he's not the one paying. If the actual promotion is the one paying for those judges, they're the ones paying. If they are flying in people from different parts of the world, they're paying for that flight. They're paying for the hotel room. They're paying for a per diem to feed them and stuff like that. So it's not on the fighter. They don't have the ability to make that choice. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, if it's in a tournament and whatever happens, like, don't try to go back and fight it. Don't try to go back and argue it. And if you're trying to have the promotion spend more money on just so you could feel better about the judges that are in there, it's never going to happen. You've got to just go out there and finish the fights. You've got to do your job, and you should have tried to finish the fight. That's why the conversation's always don't leave it up to the judges, because you don't have control over what they're going to say. We've seen some of the worst decisions probably ever. And it's like, God, how the hell did they give it to that person? Well, it happens. If you don't like it, don't go to the judges. Put more emphasis on getting them out of there. All right. So, hey, make sure you guys go to our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button as well as the bell for the notifications. Also, we're available on all of the audio listening platforms: Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, everywhere. So go ahead and check us out there as well. So if you guys are driving to and from work, you guys can listen to us in the car. Great listening platforms, all of them. And as well as when you get down into our YouTube channel, there's a link down below. You can hit that. That'll take you to our clips channel, which we offer our weigh-in interjection show only available on that channel. So you hit the subscribe button there as well as the notifications. And we drop that weigh-in interjection show on our midweek show during that week of the midweek. So go ahead and check it out. And I know that was a mouthful right there, right, John? I saw that. on the midweek of the midweek show. So we drop it during that week during the week when we do our midweek show. What else? Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/weighing in. Use the promo code ANDSTILL. Everyone's still using that and hashtagging that all around Twitter, Instagram, as well as in our comment section. Make sure you guys use the hashtag ANDSTILL when you guys are posting about us. That's great, as well as weighing in. Also go to ProWrestlingTees.com/weighing in. Use the promo code ANDSTILL there, and you get 20% off on all of our t-shirts that are available there. So, John, what else?
I got nothing else to say other than do not ever upset a nest full of yellow jackets. You will get stung, and it will itch and burn and swell you up for a while. Other than that, life is fantastic, and we will see you